Hi everyone, this is Andrew. Today we will be talking about the pivot table. The data, the data source is from NSDAQ stock. So here we have the four stock: Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. The data it is from today to 60 days before. It's a 6 days data. And every week we have the one record. So I added the month, so March, April, and May. And the period is the middle of the March, late of March, early of April, something like that. So before you insert the pivot table, you have to select the data range you were talking about it. So I prefer select all the data, and you can select the different data to make up the pivot table. So to generate the pivot table from data and the pivot table, you have two options. So you can insert the pivot table into a new sheet. They will generate a new sheet, or put on the current sheet. So I prefer into the current sheet. So select the location. It's a L2. Okay, great. So you create the table. Now they give you some how to say that, some template. You can select this one. It's easier to generate. For example, I want to generate the average open for each month. It's easier. It's a month and open, the average for open. And then you can add the column for open and close. That's average as well. Okay, and I want to put on the volume. But the volume use the sum is better. Another one, I want to add the column is close minus open. That's a close minus open. So that one is up and down. Add the column. This use a calculated field. Here, it's calculated field. The calculated field, you can use the current, the table's field. So just like close minus open. So here, use the sum. Okay, this one should be changed. I make up the table is better. You can change the data, the date into a currency, something like that. And oh yeah, here is a currency as well. And change the table. The higher, it's just like this open. This is the close. Normally it's the average. It's some, it make no sense. Okay, this volume. Okay, this volume is for sum. You can put on sum here. This field It's up and down. Ups and down. It's ups and down. So here, this table. This pivot table. And you can add another one. I prefer to do that is area and the volume. It is volume's average. So this volume for average probably is better. So you can move the volume average is here. The move volume is here. That's the average volume, and the volume is sum. So when you move it, you find it, the format is keep the column. So normally you change the format just after the finish the table. That's maybe it's better. So here, this is the number, something like that. This number. This one is currency. And you can mark up the table, something like that. Change the color, whatever you want, something like that. Whatever you want, you can put on the table. It's the move the width is the bigger and smaller, something like that. Okay, next one, I will generate another pivot table. So here, the pivot table is similar with before. So I select the location and create. So here, the firstly, I can generate by myself. You can put on the row with any row, the data, parent, date. So now I still use the month here. But I want to put on the column, use the period. That means the early, middle, and the late. So the column, I want to add period. It's early, late, middle, and data. So I can put on the closed price here. This closed price. So I don't want to the sum. I want to use the average. Okay, here we generate very useful data. So let's merge. They separated early, late, and middle. Early, late, and middle. They will pick up some data based on the period to get here. This data is later merge the average open price. But here we can change into a close. This is close price. This table is very, very useful. It's very, very useful. So you can change the column, the header, whatever you want, but you cannot change the grand total. This one you cannot change. This one you cannot change. The other one, so here you can change it, and change the color, whatever you want. This is the average. And another one you can add the different thing is for the volume. Normally we use the total. The quick to generate another private table, the pivot table. So here, just like select the location here, create. I create here this month. here, and the column is period. The value is volume. Volume use the sum. The data is very useful. The volume in the April, we use the early to sum up the volume in the early is this value, and then grand total. Based on the early, the grand total, and late, the grand total, something like that. So you can add the filter on it, whatever you want. Something, if you want to put on the filter, you can add it, for example, the month. I don't want to look at May, only for April, March. It's only April and March. So another one is March and May. Then March and May. It's very easy to generate the table. Something like that. The pivot table is very, very useful for you when you do something during your job. So you can collect different data from a source. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for your watching. Please subscribe me. Thank you. Bye bye.